What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ICNV Drivers Edition. Today, we're going to discuss the Corvette C8 Z06 getting modded so quickly after purchase. But before we get into that video, for all my new subscribers and those who've been following me for a while, if you don't know, get at me on my social media sites if you want to talk about something. If the conversation gets enough traction, I usually shoot a video on it. So reach out to me, DM me on one of my social media sites, and we can have a conversation. And like I said, if it picks up enough traction, I will shoot a video on it. So let's get into this video on the C8 Z06 getting mods.
I'm on it, I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it, you know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic, keep them out your face, no way, you don't want it, yeah.
Now, one of the reasons why I decided to have this conversation is because I've got a lot of DMs on Facebook and in my Instagram asking me my thoughts on the C8 Z06 getting modded. I think most of this is brought up because of Street Speed and Amelia. Street Speed has already dropped his car off and got an exhaust added, and Amelia right now is looking to put twin turbos on her car. She hasn't quite finished it yet, but they are working on the process. So I've gotten messages or people sitting there saying that, is the C8 Z06 not powerful enough, or did GM not really take it to the full max? And so now we see people looking to do modifications to get the Corvette or get more power out this Corvette. And I want to be honest with you. The Corvette in general is one of the most modded vehicles or sports cars on the market. So it doesn't surprise me that people get their hands on them, especially YouTubers. And that's what you got to understand. A lot of these famous YouTubers have connections. And so Street Speed has a connection with Soul Performance. I think Horsepower Sets has a connection with AWE. So at the end of the day, most of these people, once they get their hands on the car, is going to break the car in and then drop it off to one of their connections so they can get an opportunity to come up with some form of modification to sell on the public market. So that doesn't surprise me. I've also stated before that me hearing the C8 Z06 in person, it has a very unique exhaust note, which for most car enthusiasts, they absolutely love it. But for me personally, who likes to sound more of a beefier V8, it just wasn't enough. So I truthfully, if I bought a car or if I get a C8 Z06, I'm sure I'm going to explore some aftermarket options, and I especially would like to see what Boiler puts out, although they haven't gotten their hand on the car yet. And with that being stated, a lot of aftermarket companies are trying to get their hands on a car. They just wasn't selected early. So truthfully, I guess the real question we're sitting there trying to talk about is GM had to know that some of these people that got their hands on the car were going to go out and try to modify the beast that they built. So why were they so concerned in getting these people cars first? Let's go ahead and take a moment and hit that like button. Remember, hit the like button. Like buttons matter. It helps content like this get in circulation and get out to other car enthusiasts like yourself. So don't be afraid to hit the like button so this video can get in rotation. Also, subscribe to the channel. Join the ICNV Driver Edition community. We have content like this and other videos where we talk about issues or topics that are brought up by my community. All you have to do is reach out to me on one of these social media sites that you see scrolling at the bottom. And don't forget to share this video. Share this video to anyone that you think would be interested in the topic, because just like you, there are many people that will be interested too. But right now, let's get back into this video. Truthfully, I don't think they were expecting people to go out right away and start modding these cars, except for probably Amelia, and they knew that was just something she was going to do. That's why they gave her very strict instructions on how to break in her car before she started doing certain things to the car. But Most people, like I think like Stradman and Eddie X, aren't going to really go out and modify their car quickly. So at this point, I think they are probably the primary targets and why they were chosen early to get the cars for content. But at the same point in time, everybody living in a cold climate, it actually plays more into the modification game. Because if Horsepower Sets got his car, like Street Speed has his car, they're in colder climates. I don't really expect too much content coming from them right away with their car as far as getting out, driving and playing with the performance behind the vehicle. We got to expect that from people who are getting cars in the more warmer climate areas. That's why I think right now Speed Phenom is putting out probably the most content that you can get really quickly, and with the car performing more along the lines of what General Motors actually expected. So right now, I feel like a large part of the modification game is really because of where the cars have been given or issued at. We also have several smaller YouTubers popping up. I've only seen one or two in a warmer climate, and so far they've only dropped one or two videos. So maybe we'll get more content from them in the near future, but who knows? But ultimately, what do I think about the car being modded? Let me say it to you like this. I've already spoken on the fact that the Corvette is one of the most modded vehicles or sports cars out there on the market. Not to mention, people are always trying to push the envelope because they know GM makes solid engines that people can usually produce more horsepower of with some small tweaking and minor modifications. So it doesn't surprise me at all that this is going to happen to the C8 Z06. Another thing is a lot of people like to customize their vehicles anyway. They like to make their vehicles not the same as everybody else or what the next person has. I'm one of those people. That is primarily one of the visions behind ICNV Driver's Edition, is the custom modifications of your car, so you have a car that is considered simply unique, or it's a unique vehicle and it's tailor-made to you, the owner, and how their vision of the car should be. I don't see that changing with the C8 Z06. Now, what I will say is there will be a lot of buyers, just like with the base Corvette or the base C8, that purchase the car and leave it factory. But for right now, the people that are getting their hands on the cars aren't those people. So does it surprise me that the cars get modded? No. What I'm actually waiting to see right now is what happens with these modifications. Street Speed said he got an extra bump in 20 horsepower. At least that's what the dyno said. I'm waiting to see how much power Amelia can put out of her car by putting twin turbos on it. I can't wait to see what happens when Boiler gets a car, or AWE, and how they modify it. At the end of the day, there are a lot of companies out there eagerly waiting to get their hands on the car so they can come up with some form of modification or exhaust or so forth to boost the horsepower to get your business. Because truthfully, although the flat plane crank 5.5 670 horsepower engine that GM built is already a monster that revs up to 8600, I'm sure they'll find a way to get more out of it. As of right now, modifying the Corvette C8 Z06 to me isn't a surprise. I don't think you should take it as a surprise, and I don't think it's a sign of the car not putting out enough power or producing way less than what GM has actually stated. So please drop that out your mind. Now, I can tell you right now, I haven't gotten behind the wheels of one yet, but I know I'm going to make that happen in our near future, at least sometime within the next 6 months. I know a couple people that their status is at 3,000 and moving along. So at some point, I will at least get to ride in one and experience it. And I'm going to take that along and share that process with you. But for now, all I can do is speculate. And my speculation is, trust it when GM said they put the world on notice, and this car is taking the world by storm. They haven't built enough yet. And until more hit the market, right now, just like you, I have to sit back and enjoy the ride and take a look at the content that's being put out for me to see. And it's a lot of modifications being done right now, and I'm not even going to lie, I'm intrigued by it myself. So don't be surprised, because I can tell you right now, Hennessy is going to do something with a C8 Z06. We're going to see several companies come out with some form of modification to boost the horsepower of a C8 Z06. So modifying the C8 Z06 is pretty much a normal practice that it is on base C8s. So that's my 2 cents on this topic. Let me know what your thoughts are. Are you surprised that the cars are getting modded right away? I'll tell you, I'm not simply because who has the cars or who's producing the content that we're seeing with these cars. They've always modified their cars, if I'm not even mistaken. What we're seeing right now is the same thing that happened when the base C8 came out. So I'm not surprised. Are you surprised? Let me know. Let me know in the comments what you think the horsepower is going to be on Amelia's Z06 when she gets down with her turbos. Let me know who you think is going to come out with the best modification on the aftermarket. Because I'll tell you one thing, and I've said this before, I tend to go to the aftermarket to get customization parts for my car anyway because I like it to look different. So who do you think is going to come out with the best modification for this car? We all know Boiler, AWE, Hooker, Soul Performance, just to name a few, are going to come out with modifications for this car. And I can tell you right now, don't think you won't see a wider body kit for this C8 Z06 as well. I think it's a nice addition to 3 extra inches, but I feel like it's still missing maybe 2 or 3. So I expect somebody to come out with an even wider body kit for this car. So that's my predictions. That's my thought. Hopefully you enjoyed this short video. I just wanted to comment because, like I said, I got a couple questions asking me about these modifications and why are people modifying these cars so quickly. And I just want to reiterate real quickly, it's not because the car isn't fast enough. It's because people still want more out the car. ICNV Drive Edition. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, join the ICNV Drive Edition community. If you like the video, share it. Matter of fact, just share it anyway because there's a lot of people who have thoughts and questions on this, and this video can kind of address that concern. So share the video. But as always, stay blessed, stay safe, and I will see you in these streets. Peace.